starting to see Callum's night. We're just getting ready to go down to breakfast, but before we go down I need to fit Callum with his night. So this one's been charging overnight, so all I do is replace this one by sliding it off and attach this one onto his sticky pad, just like so, and then check it's working and check the volume. We need it on volume 4, which is great because that means Callum's being receptive to it being on its average tone. Then how we attach it to Callum, turn it off for a moment, we attach this sticky pad to this one, so we'll do that, and then I attach it to Callum. It's very sticky. There we go. So attach that just like so, and then press it down hard, and then this is lasting all day on Callum, which is brilliant. Then we'll peel this one off and go and find Callum. Let's turn it on. So here's Callum, and we'll attach this night just in between his shoulder blades. Now because he's got really big shoulder blades, you have to have it slightly higher than normal because he just pops it off. And all you do is stick it down nice and well. And there it is. Callum is wearing his night and he's breakfast. Okay, so we're on our way to breakfast. Callum's wearing his night, and what the night does is it beeps every 8 seconds, and it sends a beeping sound at the back of his head. And that beeping sounds help Callum be orientated and focused and with us. And you can see he's walking really calmly. He's not running off. He's in control of his body, but he's really taking in the carpet, which is quite colourful and got lots of flowers on it. Callum didn't do that before. So we're just coming up to the lift. See you down at breakfast. Take you into an amazing Whole Foods shop and get Callum some pasta, so here we go. A little treat for myself. Lavender and vanilla might help me sleep well. Just trying to find Dad, who's driven off. I'm sure he'll be back in a minute. Bye! Alright, let's go! Okay, we're on our way back home now after a morning at the Oakland Success Centre. Callum stayed with Desmond for the whole time and was very still today, and just spent quite a lot of time sitting on Desmond and sighing and relaxing quite a bit. Desmond just ran with it today because that's obviously what Callum needed. Whilst I spent a good couple of hours talking to Desmond's mum, Kathy, and listening to her story and how she got help with Desmond, how she set up the Oakville Success Centre, and Transform Disability Allowance and screening here in Canada. An inspirational lady, and I've had a really lovely morning. So we're off back to our hotel for lunch. Here's Callum. Hello, matey. Here we are speaking to Hamish and Ewan on our daily phone call. How are you doing, boys?
Okay.
How was your day, Ewan?
Awesome. Yes, it's just my week, and I think I did really well on my test.
Good. Did you read the question?
Yeah, I did read the question. It was kind of annoying that I wasn't
Oh. Okay, but are you good?
Yeah, but overall I had an awesome day.
Okay, so I've just popped outside for a bit of fresh air to summarise day 5 in Canada, but day 4 of Callum working with Desmond. And I've been privileged to watch Desmond and Callum's relationship grow and become closer and closer, and witness Callum's body and brain begin to link and sync, and you can see it. Oh, I've seen it before my very own eyes, and it's the subtle signs that show me his body and brain are beginning to link, where you say his name and he immediately turns round and he gives you eye contact and he smiles, or from you give him one instruction and he follows it instantly. But more importantly, Callum has stopped fidgeting. He's completely still when he's with Desmond, and his body is at peace. And because his body is at peace, that means his brain is calm and stable, which means then he's beginning to piece things together. And 3 things that I'll share with you is I've been wearing a dress, the same dress all day, and Callum hadn't paid any attention to this dress whatsoever. But after a morning with Desmond, Callum suddenly turned to me in the back of the car and noticed the buttons on my dress, and he grabbed the button with his pincer grip and he really looked at the button. And I didn't really know what to say because Callum doesn't pay attention to detail like that normally, so thought that's something new, that's great, and we kind of carried on. And then 1 minute later he turned back to my dress and he noticed that I had flowers on the dress, and he zoned in on one flower, and with one of his index finger he then traced the edge of the flower very slowly but surely, and he was really looking at this flower. And at this point I thought, that's twice, I need to respond, so I said, "Good boy, Callum, that's Mummy's flower." And then the third thing, about a minute or so later, he then turned to my necklace that I've worn all week, and he doesn't pay any attention to it whatsoever, but he grabbed it again with his pincer grip, he looked into it closely. I said, "What's Mummy's necklace, Callum?" And then he traced the edges of the necklace with his finger, and then he carried on looking out the car window. Now, they're new to Callum, he doesn't do those, and that gave me even more hope than I've already had. So then this morning I was privileged to meet Desmond's mum, Dr. Kathy. And Dr. Kathy is a true inspiration to me. She was a teacher, she had grade 2 students who were the non-performers, and she had to do something different to help them achieve. And she took some of her teaching from a piece of research carried out in the Maori region, and she turned these children's livelihoods around through her teaching methods. And I told her this story of the 3 objects Callum had noticed, and she said, "Well, what did you do?" And I said, "Well, I was a bit aghast, but I don't think I responded appropriately." And she said, "He's reprogramming him. He's gone back to a toddler and he's beginning to take note of the world around him." And she gave me some amazing tips, but her words really hit home to me, and we feel very much like we're able to start again with Callum and help him reboot and reprogram his brain and see the world in a very different way for him. So a brilliant first 4 days with Desmond. Their bond is amazing. I watch in awe at how Callum responds to Desmond, how he sinks his body into his body, and they're actually one many of the time. So we've got a day of rest tomorrow from Desmond, so we're going to the aquarium. We found the cinema room in our hotel, which Callum loves, so hopefully we'll be able to manage to watch a movie, which is also a new thing. Callum sat with me for a whole hour and he did not move while we watched Shrek. I couldn't really believe it, and I didn't know how to respond and found myself fidgeting and had to force myself to stop, because that's how I've had to be with Callum for 6 years. So we look forward to tomorrow, and we'll be seeing Desmond again back at his house on Saturday. Hi everyone, right, a further update for you. I know I've shared some really positive stories with you over the last 4 days, and it has been the best possible start that we could have wished for. However, it's not all rosy, and because of progress Callum's making, it means Callum's gone back to being a toddler again, and he's reprogramming and rebooting his brain. and with that means we've entered into the terrible twos. Now, those of you who know Callum very well can feel my pain, because I'm stubborn, but my goodness, he takes it to a whole new level. However, the thing with Callum now, even though he's in the terrible twos, it's not taking too much to get him out of the terrible twos for whatever it is. So it might have been sitting in his car seat. He decided all of a sudden that's it. He does not have to sit in his car seat no matter what I say. But of course he does. So after a day of battles and constantly telling him to sit on his bottom, it's eased. It's not completely solved, but it's definitely eased. And that's what happens with children when they work with Desmond and his mum, Dr. Kathy, is that they have to go through the milestones. You can't cheat the milestones. We can't skip this phase. But what happens is that Callum will work through these milestones at a rapid rate of knots. Well, I'm hoping anyway. So it's good, and it's a really positive sign, but it's hard and it's a bit tiring, but we know it's a positive step, so we can just keep on going.